Hello and welcome to another episode of The Floor About Nothing. This is technically episode 3 because episode 2 came out in 2 parts. But
And that's okay. Episode 3 might come out in 3 parts.
Episode 3 might come out in
maybe.
2 parts. Who knows? I'm David and I'm here with Dennis and KP.
Hey.
As always.
And we have Misty now playing our Eric. So she will keep us in line for recording time.
I certainly plan on it.
We will absolutely I
wanted
to say abuse, but let's not abuse Misty.
Let's not, yeah.
Oh God.
Let's not abuse Misty, but let's annoy Misty.
Oh, absolutely.
See,
because we like Misty, but we want to annoy Misty just a little bit.
Gotta keep it on
but I kind of
theme.
like the verbal abuse too. So potato, tomato.
So I gotta start something this week that I had some homework from last recording, and I have to.
Is this about
make
the monkey movie that was called Dinosaur?
Yes, this is about the monkey movie that was called Dinosaur.
Please enlighten us.
Okay, so I've watched it, and this is a movie that came out in the year 2000. It is about an iguanodon egg. It is about an iguanodon egg that gets lost on a completely kind of segregated island from the main continent where all the dinosaurs live, apparently. And this island is inhabited by mostly ring-tailed lemurs. Not monkeys, lemurs.
Are lemurs monkeys?
Okay.
Or are monkeys lemurs?
The dinosaur version isn't a lemur. They're dinosaurs, so they're not technically lemurs.
But they were lemurs. They lived on a whole separate island for the dinosaurs. They didn't even know the dinosaurs existed until a meteor shower that, torched their whole island.
But they wouldn't have been called lemurs back then.
So, they probably wouldn't have. No, I don't know what they called each other. I mean, they were like monkeys, though. They were
Probably
basically
by their names. Did
I
they
mean,
have
yeah,
names
they
in
did
the
call.
movie?
They did. There was there was a mom and there was a grandpa. I can't remember their fucking names.
And that was
they had
their
names.
name?
No, but oh God, what was their names? I'm trying to remember.
Like that one's Fred. That one's
there was
George.
Well, one of the they did actually have names. There was an iguanodon egg though that gets lost in the beginning of the movie. That I remember the trailer. That's the trailer that I remember was this iguanodon egg getting lost and then found on this separate island from all the dinosaurs. And this iguanodon gets raised by the lemurs. And then the meteor shower happens and they end up on the main continent. But most of the lemurs died. I think it was 4 that managed to survive.
It's not looking good for the lemurs.
Yeah,
No, it's really fucking not. It's really not looking good for the not monkeys.
Spoiler alert, dinosaurs did not make it.
Spoiler alert for a 26-year-old movie.
6 million years ago, they didn't make it.
But they make it to the iguanodon that was raised by the lemurs, make it to the main continent with the 4 lemurs that survived. And they get chased by some scavenger dinosaurs that are basically mini raptors. And they find a whole herd of random different species of dinosaurs that are moving through the continent to try and get to their nesting grounds. Because that's the only place that would potentially have survived the meteor shower or whatever. Which, spoiler alert for the end of the movie, it totally did. But there's multiple iguanodons. And one of them is the main leader of the whole herd because he's supposed to be he's supposed to be the fucking big macho motherfucker, right? And then he's got obviously his
Alpha
second
male
in command.
broski iguanodon.
Yeah, 100%, dude. He's such a prick. And the lady iguanodon that our main character iguanodon falls in love with is Big Macho Man's sister. And so they obviously got problems and whatnot. And I think our main character Iguanodon, his name was Alanis or something like that.
Aladar,
Thank you.
Not Dawn, because that would have been
It would have been pretty apropos, wouldn't it? But
I also have the lemur names too.
oh, what was the lemur names? Give us the lemur names.
So we have Plio, Plio, Zinni, which is like the weird
Oh,
wire-haired one.
Plio.
That's like the little baby one. And then we have Suri and Yar.
Yar was the grandpa. Suri
Yeah.
was the baby. Suri was the baby lemur, and then Plio
she's
was the
one that in
mom.
the beginning, she was in the tree for like the whole mating thing.
No,
I'm almost positive.
What is this fucking movie about?
Plio was the one who found Aladar's
Yeah,
egg,
that's the
and
mom.
then convinced Yar to fucking keep him.
I
But
have all of the character names.
by the end, Aladar and
Mira. The lady one or the big mean one?
no, when Aladar like gets separated from the whole herd, him, a Triceratops, and a Brontosaurus end up in like a cave and chased by Carnivores, and they make it out through the other side of the cave and find the breeding grounds. But they find out that like the main like pathway that the rest of the herd is supposed to take, they're not going to be able to make it. So Aladar goes back to rescue everybody. He rescues everybody, but alpha male dickhead decides he's going to go his own way and almost gets killed by Carnivores.
His name is Crone.
Crone, yeah, what a fucking prick. I hated him the whole movie. It was a really good movie. I will admit that I didn't remember jack shit about that movie.
I think that falls in line with how that movie was permanently received. Even though apparently it made $350 million domestically.
Oh my god.
Lord.
Or worldwide anyway. $350 million. It
God.
beat out Gladiator and Road Trip at the box office to become
Wow.
the number one movie that weekend when it was
That's
released.
crazy.
And I'm sorry, I'd much rather see both Gladiator and Road Trip. I think the biggest problem I have with Disney's Dinosaur here is eventually Pixar made its own movie called The Good Dinosaur.
Yeah, that one really throws me off.
And so now we have a dinosaur, Good Dinosaur. Does this make Disney's Dinosaur the bad dinosaur by comparison?
The okay dinosaur.
So I personally have seen both of these movies pretty recently, both Dinosaur and The Good Dinosaur. And I have to say that Dinosaur...
We should get a crossover movie, though.
Whoa.
I want a crossover movie called The Greater Dinosaur.
The Greater Dinosaur! Starring Aladar.
Where Aladar meets Franklin or whatever the heck the other dinosaur.
Oh god, I don't remember.
No clue.
Neither do I. That's why I just made up a name, Franklin. It just came to me.
But I have to say that Dinosaur, Disney's Dinosaur, was the better movie. And although I don't like, obviously although I didn't remember like anything about that movie except for the trailer, because the trailer is vividly seared into my mind for all eternity. It was a great movie, and it holds up, in my opinion, being a 26-year-old movie.
Well, yeah, but so does Gladiator.
Oh yeah.
It was released at the same time.
Yeah, it does. That's true.
Well, speaking of things that hold up, can we get into our review of Fuckface? We're talking today about episodes 9 through 12. And episode 9, apparently Gavin received a fart. The ultimate question fart.
The ultimate question fart. And this is the first time that Jeff goes back and listens to previous Fuckface episodes. He does it a couple times throughout the tenure. He doesn't do it consistently, but he does it a few times.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mainly because he doesn't like to listen to himself, but he likes to listen to himself interacting with Gavin and Andrew.
That's fair.
And he said actually in a recent episode of Regulation that it's because he prefers to listen to himself interacting with others rather than just listening to himself solo.
Is that why So All Right went away?
And that that is actually partially why So All Right went sunset, because it's not because he ran out of ideas, it was because he is pulling his focus a little bit more to other projects at this time with Regulation. And and also with like his solo streaming in the morning as well, because his solo streaming in the morning has essentially turned into like mini episodes of So Alright.
And keep in mind, let's be glad that So Alright and any of these shows and podcasts and productions that the people that we're fans of go ahead and put out there, it's like extra bonus stuff. We're not really owed anything by these awesome people.
Oh no,
When you
absolutely.
look at a guy like Jeff
Absolutely not.
Ramsey, he's been making content for well over 20 years at this point. He's given people 20 years worth of, the ups and downs of his life and given us a great window.
It's absolutely
and if he
amazing.
wants to close a little portion of that, I'm okay with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I am too. And I respect it fully because of all the things that he does for us and for his community members even.
And then it's something admirable too about just being able to continue to create. Like, you've been doing it for 20 plus years, but still having that like drive and the motivation to keep going is incredible.
Absolutely.
Well, when you can take the idea of, I'm just going to record voice notes of farts on my phone and have fun with that, it's easy to stay motivated that way.
Okay, the creative curve can have some ups and downs, but it's all there in thought.
I think that's what that question fart was meant to be. It just kind of curled up at the end.
Yeah.
Like, hmm?
Then I also have in my notes, I'm pretty sure episode 9 is the origin of Pissboy. Is it a hero or villain origin story? I have that in my notes as well. I can't tell. I'm not sure.
I mean, I think it's more of voyeuristic.
I would say, or is it more of like an anti-hero? Is he more of like a Deadpool?
I think he's more of an anti-hero kind of.
I think it's more of a
I'd
he was
say
put
more
in a
like
predicament.
Spawn.
He was
It sounds like something created by Todd McFarlane.
Pissboy,
Probably.
doesn't it? Pissboy, yeah. I can just imagine the comic book cover.
I don't want to imagine it.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Pissboy hunts the Vancouver child kicker.
Yep, Pissboy hunts the Vancouver child kicker, written and illustrated by Todd McFarlane. Yeah, turns out he's the same guy. He's like Jekyll and Hyde.
I want it illustrated by who's that? The comic book artist that has terrible anatomy. I cannot remember what his name was.
You mean someone who can't draw feet?
Nick wouldn't be a fan.
You ever seen that drawing of Captain America where he looks like he has triple Z titties and ribs that stick out about 2 feet too far?
Oh yeah,
that's who I want.
I know who you're talking about.
We're still talking about the guy who can't draw feet, Rob Liefeld.
Yes, him.
Yeah,
creator basically of Deadpool.
Yes, I want Rob Liefeld to draw the Pissboy comics.
That'll be a weirdly shaped puddle of piss.
Speaking of Andrew the Pissboy, he mentions in episode 9 that he had his wrist dislocated for 9 months. And he didn't notice.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh my god.
He didn't notice until he just thought he sprained it and that it would be healed in a couple of days or whatever. And then he looks it up about 9 months later as he's still having the same pain. And it said that a sprain should have been healed in a couple of days. And so he went to the doctor and he finds out that it was actually dislocated. And they just relocated it. But they told him to do a few pieces of physical therapy with his wrist because it had been dislocated for so long.
Oh my god. How has he made it this long?
Luck.
Seriously, the ankle integrity, the dislocated wrist for 9 months. Dude.
The universe is keeping him alive out of spite. I'm sure of it.
It really is, because it hasn't found him the right psychologist to send them into a psychotic break.
That's too much to ask of one person.
Part of it is he was needed by the universe to potentially warn that person that was going to step in the puddle of homeless woman pee. He failed at that purpose, but
he failed at that purpose.
No, that was that person's villain origin story.
Andrew is their nemesis for all of time.
He's the Joker to their Batman.
Andrew isn't the piss boy. The person he failed to warn about the piss puddle is the piss boy.
somewhere there's an alternate universe where that person does step in piss and goes on an angry, violent revenge tour looking for anyone connected to that. And
Connected to that alley and that puddle of piss.
well, they say that Batman was born in Crime Alley where like his parents were shot and murdered. Pissboy was born in Piss Alley.
In
the
Piss
homeless woman
Alley?
peed.
Where the homeless woman peed.
And
Urine
Bladder
Lane.
Boulevard.
Wait, you think that person who stepped in the piss puddle was Edgar Wright in the alternate universe?
What would Edgar Wright be doing coming out of a homeless woman alley? Except location scouting?
Location scouting?
Maybe Baby Driver would have been a much different movie had we...
Oh no.
God.
Oh no.
I'm so glad we're in this universe.
So
'cause
glad
that
we're in this
movie was
universe, guys.
incredible.
Andrew also mentions that his Surface tablet prize, his burger prize, was sold out, so he missed out on getting his tablet, but he got two Elite Series 2 controller. He got an Elite Series 2 controller instead
Mm-hmm.
in
An
replacement.
incredibly fancy Xbox controller, right?
Yeah, I think that's one of the the better ones.
Fully customizable buttons.
Yeah, it comes with the paddles and everything on the back.
And Andrew also said that he was finally able to get his hair cut, though Jeff I think he's cautioned him not to go because he could potentially wipe out an entire nursing home.
Which, as far as we know, did not actually happen.
That we know of.
I mean, according to Andrew, but how much do we believe that guy? A guy whose last name is Panton and he doesn't wear pants.
I don't trust him any farther than I could throw him.
And I wouldn't throw him very far if I could.
wouldn't either. I'd break his ankles.
He might break his ankles.
He'd be off balance. And his like twice the size of
I
mine.
don't think he needs any of our help with that.
I slip on another sushi container.
Maybe.
My level of chaos, if I were to ever have an interaction with Andrew Panton, it wouldn't be to throw him. I don't want to actually cause him harm. But I like the idea of something that I would do would somehow turn into a weird Rube Goldbergian device that winds up eventually causing him harm. Like, oh, I sent him fan art, which he spilled something on because he was laughing so hard. And then he throws it across the room into a garbage container or something. And the garbage container tumbles over and then a sushi container falls on the floor. And as he goes to pick it up, he slams his head into the wall. And which is something similar to what happened when he was speaking on the most recent episode of Regulation. But in terms of reviewing it, we are nowhere near that. And I just have to stop myself for a second because our weird, I don't want to call it an obsession, but we're fixated on this idea of causing Andrew Panton pain and suffering. And I don't actually want to cause him pain and suffering.
I don't
I just think pain and suffering is funny when it happens in a cartoonish manner.
And that's how Andrew Panton lives his life.
Yeah, he's like one rake step away from slamming himself in the face.
He's a human Looney Tune.
He really is. He's Tom the Cat, dude. Like, he really, truly is.
But yeah, you guys were saying how he was getting excited over a potential COVID haircut. And I have a question. How did you all cope with having COVID hair?
Well, I kind of... Let's see here. Beginning of the pandemic.
His whole life is COVID hair.
Beginning of the pandemic, I think, is when I did my regular, like, chop off of all of my long hair. Because I do that every couple of years. I'll grow my hair out and, like, I'll keep it tamed up, and then I'll just chop it all off every couple of years and buzz my head because it feels nice. And I like watching it grow back. It's interesting the way that it happens.
At the time, my hair was a lot longer than it is now. I know I think my mom tried to give my dad a haircut at one point, but I would not let her touch my hair with scissors or really anyone except for my hairdresser. But yeah, I waited a while before my hair got cut.
I got a few tattoos during the pandemic. I got like 5 or 6 different tattoos during the pandemic, I think.
I feel like that's wildly more dangerous than getting your haircut during a pandemic.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
I think there were a lot more people giving themselves haircuts than there were people giving themselves tattoos during the pandemic.
Probably.
I'm very anxious about who I trust to cut my hair and to give me tattoos. I only trust one person to give me tattoos currently, and that is my son's mom, because 8 out of the 9 tattoos I have on my body, she has done the entirety of the tattoo. Because the 9th tattoo, she's done some work on, but it wasn't, she kind of just did fixes on it and did a little color work, but we're working to cover that one up and put it somewhere else. And so I got like 5 or 6 tattoos from her during the pandemic. A few of them, her just practicing her tattoo art and me being the canvas.
Well, if she also cuts hair, it's like one-stop shopping.
And I did trust her to cut my hair, because she did actually cut my hair one time. Like, before we had started seeing each other, she had cut my hair, because I was like, well, I mean, I trust you to put a needle to my body, so why wouldn't I trust you to put some clippers to my skull? Kind of makes sense. It's only logical. Like, also, she's a very trustworthy person, and like, ever since I met her, I've always known that there was very few things that I couldn't trust her with, and I have yet to find those things. I mean, I've essentially allowed her to mutilate my skin.
Well, you know what else takes trust and carries the risk of mutilation? Jeff goes off in this episode on a wild tangent about how he had found someone who had a massive foreskin.
Oh no.
And
Yeah.
and then someone else on a different show who liked finding creative ways to insert things inside of themselves, and then gave, Gavin and Andrew the weird suggestion of finding ways of inserting certain parts of their body into certain other parts of their body. And my only note here after this is this the closest they've come to getting canceled?
Certainly not.
Because I think there's a reason they never went back to this.
Certainly not. It can't be.
Well, it is
I highly doubt it.
Of all the things and weird and crazy and dumb stuff that they talk about on Fuckface, this is one that really stood out as crazy, and they never went back to it. And as far as we know, they've never, inserted certain parts of themselves into themselves. So that was my note.
Say, my only note about that conversation was, did he really have a long foreskin, or did he just have really stretchy skin? Like, did my man's have like Ehlers-Danlos or whatever it is, where you have like really stretchy skin? I don't actually want an answer to that question.
I didn't take note.
I'm just posing it for the class.
I didn't take note on that particular conversation, mainly because I kind of agree with Dennis. That might have been one of the closer bits to them getting canceled. But
keep in mind, we are not afraid of getting canceled because we don't have anything to get canceled over.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely not. But
that said, do not ask us to stick foreskins anywhere.
But I do have a note from before that conversation got started about Andrew bringing up the fact that he fuckfaced himself twice in mistaking Diana Fossey for Jane Goodall. But he originally thought that he was mistaking Jane Goodall for Diana Fossey because he was thinking about somebody who studied orangutans. But in reality, it was Diana Fossey who he was thinking about, who studied gorillas and orangutans. But he was thinking about Jane Goodall because he brought up that his favorite monkey movie was MVB2, which stars a chimpanzee, which are the species of ape creatures that Jane Goodall did study.
Yeah, they did kind of issue a correction on that.
Which is kind of what sparked my thought about about reminding me to do my homework and watching that movie Dinosaur.
Mm.
were very appreciative of that because I learned that much more about that movie Dinosaur. And now I never have to watch it.
Yeah.
And I think that I definitely have to change my favorite monkey movie then to Tarzan 2, actually.
Tarzan 2?
Yeah, the second one, because that actually tells that particular one tells the story of when he was young, like when he was probably like maybe 8 or 9.
So they made like an animated sequel to Disney's Tarzan?
It was a prequel.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was in 2000. Here, let me see.
Still can't believe that I got that Instagram ad for the movie Dinosaur, like a Disney Plus ad for the movie Dinosaur.
You did?
That's how I sent that
No way.
screenshot. No,
Yeah,
I
you
sent the
did.
screenshot. Did you miss
That's
that,
right.
Dennis?
I just couldn't put that into context. That, and it's also been a very busy week, but
Oh my god, it has.
So Tarzan 2 was in 2005, and it's a prequel story to Disney's Tarzan. And I know what you guys are probably thinking.
I didn't know that movie existed.
And I know what you guys are probably thinking. Tarzan, that's a movie about gorillas. Those aren't monkeys. But that's my favorite
Those are
monkey movie, you guys.
I think in the realm of cinema, anyway, monkey movie just rolls off the tongue. I mean, think about it this way. When we're using a computer, the save icon is a floppy disk.
It is a floppy
No
disk.
one really uses floppy disks normally in like everyday kind of thing, but the icon persists and sometimes things just resonate. And so Monkey Movie works for movies with apes in them. It even apparently works for movies with iguanodons in them.
I was about to say, if y'all let me get away with having Nope as my favorite monkey movie, then anything can be a monkey movie if you try hard enough.
Nope was a really good example, though. I love that answer.
It's such a good movie.
So today we've learned all about the movie Dinosaur. We've learned that there's a movie called The Good Dinosaur. We've learned that Nope is definitely worth going out of your way to watch. Awesome movie. And I learned that there is a Tarzan 2 prequel Disney movie that I might have to watch. I definitely like the first one.
The prequel one was really good. I really like that one. One of my notes here for the end of episode 9 is stopping to start again.
How did they stop to start again?
Because they recorded a double podcast that day. They were pre-recording so that they went from recording episode 9 and they ended episode 9 and then started recording episode 10 right after that. So there wasn't really much new stuff for them to talk about per se.
Thankfully, they do a fantastic job when they have to schedule those things where they space it out. If they do have notes, they leave themselves topics for the second episode they record. And in my experience as a listener and as a fan, even when you can tell they're doing those back-to-backs, those second episodes are sometimes even better than that first one. They tend to save a lot of the better stuff for that second episode that they record.
Oh,
I don't
absolutely.
think I realized that they filmed 9 and 10 back to back because I have a note for episode 10 that makes no sense if 9 was filmed right before 10. So that's going to be fun.
Oh, I gotta hear this.
Can we jump into episode 10?
We'll get there. I only have one more note for episode 9, and it's Jeff mentioning that there's this band called We Are the Meat Men, and they have some offensive songs. And I wanted to ask, is there any like bands or any music that you like and didn't know it was very offensive?
I have the perfect example. So it's not like music that I like, but you guys, you know the Black Eyed Peas, right? Like Fergie
Yes.
and Will.i.am. Okay.
Yeah.
You know their song, Let's Get It Started, right?
Let's get it
Yep.
started in here.
Do you know that that's the censored version?
Yes, it was not always called Let's Get It Started.
Yeah.
Okay. So this was like a couple months ago. I was with my fiance. We were doing some like media shopping. I think the store was called like Second and Charles. It's like an hour from where we live. We're going through different like CDs and blah 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 whatever, and then we come across I think it's their album called like Ella Funk maybe. I have it downstairs, but I can't quite remember it off the top of my head. We look at it and we're like, "Oh, Black Eyed Peas," and we turn the disc over because I don't think we could open the case, and we're like, "Is this? Oh my god!" We found a CD with the uncensored version, and like the price tag sticker was covering like the full song list, so we had to assume that it was on there just because of the sticker placement. I'm like, okay, we're selling that.
That's great.
That's probably the most offensive piece of music that I own.
I mean, most of the music that I listen to wouldn't necessarily. I mean, some of it would be considered offensive. We've talked about that on a previous episode, but also there is a few songs that I have listened to that weren't actually about what the song is singing about. Like for instance, the song "Follow Me" by Uncle Kraker is actually about heroin addiction.
It is?
Yes.
What?
I don't have personal experience with heroin addiction, but from what I know of it, it does not lead to "follow me and everything will be all right," which I believe is one of the lyrics of that song.
Yes. So that particular line of the song is about chasing the dragon of heroin and that first high and feeling all right. That's
Wow.
like, yeah. I found that out when I was a teenager and I was like, oh, well then, that's really unsettling. I mean, I still enjoy the song, obviously. It's a good song to listen to, but it's not a great song for what it's actually about. And people who do understand that, there's probably there's plenty of people out there that obviously they don't know that. But those who do, they either have, in my experience, they either have a deep respect for the song because they have either themselves been through something like that or have watched or somebody they care about go through something like that, or they have a really deep disdain for the song.
I am never going to be able to listen to that song the same way again.
I'm really good for that. Yeah.
Mine isn't really a personal experience, though. It's more someone I know realizing that a song actually meant something else very different by looking at the lyrics a little bit closer.
Oh,
Is
Oh, I love that.
I was dating someone who thought that the Ariana Grande Nicki Minaj song Side to Side was about going to the gym and riding bikes and
no.
tricycles.
Oh no.
No.
Because there's a part where she sings about, walking side to side and riding a tricycle, and it's a metaphor.
Yep. Yeah, it's a big old honkin' metaphor.
Yeah.
So
Pretty
when
girthy metaphor.
Not real subtle at all, honestly, if you ask me.
well, there are many reasons why I'm not dating that person anymore, and them not being able to understand that might play into it, but I wish them well.
So last episode, I talked about the song. I think I talked about the song "Elevator Man" by Oingo Boingo, right? Like, do y'all
Yes.
remember?
Yep.
So I like again, I was talking to my fiance and I was showing him the song. Like, what the hell are they talking about? So I look it up, and then it clicks. It makes sense. Someone had like, I think it was like a Reddit post or something, and they were like all in agreement that the song was about a fellatio, and I didn't catch that when I like first listened through to it, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Okay, I'm the stupid one.
Ooh, shit.
It went right over my head.
I've definitely had moments like that with music.
Aren't we glad that some things can go right over our head?
Art is subjective.
And aren't we glad that we're just not afraid of, tackling weird, crazy, offensive things, almost like Jeff talking about We Are the Meat Men. Did we have any more notes on episode 9, or did we want to jump right ahead into episode 10?
Well,
my
my last.
only
Oh, go ahead.
and say my only other note that I have for episode 9 was a quote. I don't remember who said it. I'm pretty sure Jeff, because a lot of my quotes are Jeff's. It's just a quote that says a lot of heavy lifting and a lot of heavy farting. So take that as you will.
That definitely sounds like Jeff.
That is definitely a Jeff quote.
My first note for episode 10 is Andrew the Boogeyman.
I was about to say Krampus Origins was episode.
Yeah.
The idea of could Andrew be someone's horror villain?
He's my
It was
horror villain.
explained haunting the McDonald's that he got all those burgers from. The massive order.
You say he's been in the basement of a McDonald's?
He did mention that he's been in a McDonald's basement before.
I hate that. Why does it have a basement? It doesn't need a basement.
Why does the McDonald's need a basement?
Why is it 2 levels? The only thing in a McDonald's that needs 2 levels is the play place, not the whole establishment.
I think
I
that
don't want to think of someone being like, hey, come to the McDonald's. There's a play place in the basement.
Oh, good
oh
God.
no.
And I think we just went too dark.
Well, yeah, because we're in the basement.
Oh, no. Levity. We all need it sometimes. Thank you.
Just calling it as it is.
But not only that, like the Pissboy thing and potentially warning someone about pee and that not happening, and all those stories that Andrew has told, including like stealing his own mail back, could lead to him having his own dark villain origin story.
I have here Andrew Pissboy Panton, the supervillain.
I have P-Boy and Grillmaster. Now that's the comic I want Rob Liefeld to draw. But like I said a bit ago, one of my notes for episode 10, it said, I think it was Jeff or someone was gaslighting the foreskin discussion not happening in the previous episode. Now, how the hell does that make any sense if they filmed episode 9 right before episode 10? They just talked about it. How do you try to convince someone it didn't happen?
They're intentionally fucking with us?
I don't
I
know.
I think that it was because Andrew wanted to backpedal on his bringing up the whole Pissboy thing.
Maybe.
And I think he was trying to weasel his way into gaslighting that he didn't watch the woman pee in the alley.
Or Jeff is just adding into the villain origin. Like, you're a crazy person talking about foreskin.
Is gaslighting a form of a horror villain origin story? Could you be gaslit into becoming someone's horror villain?
That's an interesting.
Probably be gaslit into thinking you are.
1,000%, yes, you can.
That came with such certainty.
I've been in many various types of abusive relationships. 100% certainty. I say it with my entire chest.
I have here Andrew Panton is Susan Boyle's voice coach because Andrew looked himself up
Oh, I forgot
to
that.
find out.
Oh, yeah.
And then he goes on to troll tweets with Susan Boyle's fans talking about her like upcoming sets and things like he's her voice coach.
But that comes from the fact that he was in a group chat with other people who share the name Andrew Panton.
Yeah.
How are there so many Andrew Pantons?
And there was another Andrew Panton who happens to be musician, singer Susan Boyle's vocal coach. And because Andrew Panton, our Andrew Panton, the beloved Andrew Panton, the cheeky Andrew Panton, if you will.
Andrew Pantsless.
God.
Yeah, has such a...
Andrew Pant-None.
Well,
Andrew Pantoff.
Has such notoriety that he gets, to interact with Susan Boyle fans once in a while. I wonder if he still does. Or do you think Susan Boyle accidentally fired her vocal coach, Andrew Panton, because it got back to her that someone was putting out false set list information?
That would be diabolical.
Oh God.
Then Andrew really is a supervillain.
And wouldn't even
He
know it.
got someone fired.
But can you imagine, though, being in a group chat with other people who share your name? Because I think we've all done it where we've at least like Googled ourselves and seen people with the same name potentially pop up.
I've only ever known of one other person that like I don't know personally that has my last name, and that's Jessica Chastain, the actress. I've never known anybody else with the last name Chastain except for my biological father.
And say, growing up in school, there was a kid in my grade with the same last name as me. And literally until the day we graduated, always like going through school, if we were in the same class, teachers would assume that we were either just related or like cousins. There were times where teachers thought that him and I were twins. There was, and my mom will vouch, there was a point in time where the two of us looked pretty similar, I think around like middle school, but it would be constant that the teachers would ask if we were related. We have to go, no, no. But then it's crazy too. We both have brothers, but yeah, like we constantly got asked if we were related, and it was a negative ghostwriter. My 10th grade, I think geometry teacher, he used to be my next door neighbor, but he moved. Then I got to his class. First day of class, he called roll, said my name, looked me dead in the eye, and went, I used to fly kite in your backyard. Like, thanks for that.
That's some real Boy Meets World shit right there.
Seriously, that's some real Mr. Feeney type shit.
He was so strange. His kid was strange too. He had like a weird Amish bowl cut. They weren't Amish.
Maybe they just got stuck with COVID hair.
No, he had that haircut like way before COVID ever happened.
It was him preparing for COVID hair.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe if you just decide, I'm going to have the worst haircut imaginable in order to prepare for an upcoming apocalypse. That way
I don't think that haircut was a choice at like 9 years old. But Dennis, is there anyone that shares a name with you? Do you have any doppelgangers?
Do I have any name doppelgangers? Apparently there might be a rugby player and a doctor that got published in a medical journal, and those are the only things that have like ever popped up when I've Googled myself like that.
So are you talking about Dennis Whitaker from the amazing show The Pit?
No.
Aw.
No menaces, huh?
I've had, way too many bad experiences, though, with the whole Dennis the Menace thing. In, like, the first grade, I literally chased someone out of our classroom in the middle of class, out onto the field and up a hill up towards a mall because they called me Dennis the Menace.
Well, that's a very menacing activity.
That's a very menacing activity, Dennis.
In hindsight, that was my villain origin story. To that poor young girl, I am her horror villain.
Oh my god.
And yet, when I think about it now, it's like, was it really that bad? Because I remember,
Probably.
like, there was a Dennis the Menace movie and a cartoon and all that shit, and they were fun.
Didn't the Dennis Menace movie star that kid from Christmas Story?
I don't think so, because
Macaulay
he was
Culkin?
probably too old by then.
Macaulay Culkin is from Home Alone.
Wait, what movie did you say?
I said A Christmas Story.
Oh.
Yeah, because that was the 80s.
1993.
Oh no.
Mason Gamble played Dennis Mitchell.
And what else did he go on to do in life?
Let's find out. He did Dennis the Menace, Bad Moon, Arlington Road,
He was in
Gentleman's
Rushmore.
Game, Rushmore, yeah, Spy Hard, Golf in the Kingdom in 2010. There's more, but
Okay, here's what sucks, and here's where I have empathy for this guy as a fellow Dennis in spirit. Apparently, the guy's first ever movie, he was nominated for a Razzie Award for Worst New Star.
Oh no.
Like, that's setting up a guy for failure. No wonder he didn't.
That was some real Dennis the Menace-ry.
But like, don't do that to your kids. Don't do that to young actors and
Natasha Lyonne was in the Dennis the Menace movie.
What?
And Christopher Lloyd?
Well, yeah, I remember Christopher Lloyd being the bad guy in that.
I'm looking at this cast. I don't think I've ever watched this movie.
I watched it a long time ago. I haven't seen it in, God, I don't even know how long.
Oh, and then on Google, people also watch Dunstan Checks In. Everything's coming full circle.
It's all relative. It all comes back to monkey movies.
Comes back to the monkey movies.
But you know what else it all comes back to? Sharing an elevator with Andrew Panton and Steven Spielberg.
I don't think that's real. I don't think that story's real.
I think that story is as real as Andrew's cats.
I think that story would have... It's just petty enough to be real. Because apparently, I don't know if you want to believe into, Hollywood rumors or anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if Steven Spielberg has his off days and might not always be approachable, especially when he's in a hotel trying to go up an elevator, probably to some movie production meeting, and happens to get into a hotel elevator with Andrew Panton. That's trouble waiting to happen. And because things didn't necessarily go Andrew Panton's way, he got off on his floor and hit every button in the elevator. Have you ever done that to people?
Oh, God, no.
Been in an elevator and just decided, I'm going to hit every button?
I have done it once.
Only once?
But it was before I was getting... It was as I was getting to my floor, and I didn't think anybody else was going to be getting into the elevator, but there was somebody there. It was kind of like that first episode of Ruby, when she goes, I think somebody pressed all the buttons on the elevator. So it goes to every floor, and I didn't know that there was going to be somebody standing outside of the elevator waiting for it when I got to my floor. And so I'd already pressed all the buttons. There was nothing I could do.
Oh, no.
So that was your horror villain origin story?
That was my horror villain origin story, because it was clear there was nobody else in the elevator besides me until the other person came in as I was walking out. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
So yeah, I'm willing to believe that this Spielberg story happened. And it made me want to ask you guys, have you ever had weird interactions with celebrities? Because by no means are we famous. We are not celebrities. On the tier of fame, we are probably, if you're going like A-list celebrity, B-list, D-list, we're like a Y, where we are just shy above absolute nobodies because we've got a podcast and a couple of people listen to it. So we'll be Y-level celebrities. But have you had interactions with actual celebrities?
I've had a couple. I met Gabriel Iglesias, Fluffy. I met him in person back in 2016, and I didn't initially plan for it because he was performing at my local state fair, and I had gone to his show, but I was sitting up in the free seating. And I had brought a chocolate cake, and there was a thing on his set list or whatever that said if you have any gifts for Fluffy, give them to security. And he also always talks about that in his shows too. He says, if you guys have any gifts for me, give them to the security guys, and they'll make sure that it gets to me. And I had bought just a regular old store-bought chocolate cake to give to him because I wanted to make reference to his old chocolate cake joke. So I didn't get to give it to any of the security guys because I was so far away from all of them that I wasn't going to be able to get to them. And so I was kind of sad and walking back out of the state fair. And as I was walking out of the state fair, I saw him walking to his bus. And I said, Fluffy, I have cake for you. And I kind of ran over to him, and his security guys almost tackled me. But he's like, hey, he's he's just a kid. Let him come over here. And I was like, Fluffy, I was sitting in the free seating in the amphitheater, but I brought this cake for you. I couldn't give it to security guys because I was too far away. But here you go. And so like his security guy, obviously, his security guy standing there is who took it from me to like make sure it wasn't like poison or a bomb or whatever. And I was like, I just bought it from the store like 2 hours ago because I wanted to bring it like, to make reference to your joke because I love your comedy and I'm actually a stand-up. I'm a aspiring stand-up comedian myself. And I stood there and I'd asked him like, what's the best part of your entire act? And he's like, honestly, the stories of my life are what get the most genuine joy reaction out of people and me just talking about my life. I'm like, awesome. I'm going to hold on to that. And I'm just going to that's going to be the basis for most of my comedy. And it's done me well. That was some pretty great advice that I got from one of my inspirations to be a comedian.
And it only cost you some chocolate cake.
It only cost me some chocolate cake, man. What about you guys?
I'd say all through high school. So when I was, middle school, all through high school, I was in my high school's marching band and not the band, not like the band director, but he helped with percussion. This guy, he was the original drummer for Breaking Benjamin.
Oh.
So yeah, I've interacted with him more than once. I went to school with I don't know about both, but I went to school with one of his kids. But yeah, I talked to him like a couple times and he's like an okay guy, I guess. But that's always kind of something I keep in my back pocket, like, oh, I know the original drummer. I've been to two different card conventions, and the first one I was able to meet a couple voice actors. I met the voice actor for Jiraiya from Naruto. I met the voice actor of Pegasus from Yu-Gi-Oh!
No way!
Yeah,
I'm
and then
jealous.
I've met Charles Martinet. I've met Peter Cullen. Who else? My fiance met the original voice actress of Sailor Moon. I wasn't in her line. But yeah,
Oh, that's
I've
rad.
interacted with a couple different voice actors and it was really cool. So what about you, Dennis? You met anyone famous?
I have two, both are very different stories. One was I was at a wrestling show and I was just going off to the concessions to buy drinks. As I'm coming back, going back to my seat from this concession area, I almost bumped into Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh my
Holy
god.
shit.
And that dude is intimidating looking. And I don't know why he wasn't surrounded by security or kept away from anything else.
He's his own security.
Yeah.
But yeah, all I could do was look up and be like, oh. And I just avoided like 6 feet to the side and bolted back to my seat and told my little brother at the time, I'm like, you are not going to believe this. And because I've joked and said and done so many different things, like he truly would not believe me. And I didn't even think to like take a picture or anything. And he looked busy. So I'm like, yeah, oops, that was my bad. And the other one did involve actually bumping into a very different celebrity. And given what's come out about this person, I'm surprised I didn't get my ass kicked. But I ran into Will Smith once coming out of a restaurant. And this was during the time of the Toronto International Film Festival. I was just in town. I didn't even bother like seeing a movie, but we were going out for dinner at a restaurant and it was really busy. And then it turns out, oh yeah, it's the film festival and it's really busy around there. And as we're going to leave, and he's surrounded by other people, but like I accidentally hip checked Will Smith.
Whoa.
And
Golly.
I've got like 4 other security guys in suits nearby, like 2 in front, 2 in back, and they're looking at me. They're giving me side eye, and I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm about to die." And then Will Smith just looks and gives that like smile nod, look like, oh, I'm too cool, and just goes on by. And I'm like, he could have smacked the shit out of me.
So he about to get
Knowing what we
murdered
know
by the
now, he
Fresh
should
Prince
have.
of Bel-Air.
That's a pretty, yeah, I was about to say
I'm
that's
just
the
glad
Fresh
I didn't
Prince.
say anything about Jada.
Hey, everybody. So I'm David here with KP,
Hello.
and Dennis currently had to take care of some business personal to him. So we will be giving you a little itty bitty outro for the first half of this week's episode. What do you think of the first half of the episode, KP?
I think it went pretty good. I think it is going to be very fun to listen to, and then leading into the second half, I think these next two parts are going to be so fun.
I'm definitely curious to hear where Dennis cuts it off in the middle.
Oh,
That's because our first two-parter, I gotta say, was pretty great. I think that was the perfect cutoff point, and the lead in for the second half of that episode was fantastic
top
and got me
notch.
laughing a lot. Absolutely. Well, so far I think that we've got a pretty decent episode for you guys. I think you guys are gonna
Absolutely.
enjoy it, and the second half I think you will enjoy much more. And hopefully in the future we can kind of cut down our recording time, because we tend to run a little long these last
Yeah,
couple of ones.
certified yappers, but what can you do?
Hey man, we've got a lot to talk about in these episodes. The fuckface regulation guys do quite a lot.
I'd say they talk a lot, so it just works.
Yeah, they talk a lot about a lot. Well, this has been another week of deep lore about nothing. I'm David, and along with KP.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Like, rate, share, whatever you want to do with this podcast. We appreciate every single person that listens to what we make. Cannot be more grateful.
Absolutely. Thank you guys, and we will talk to you again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Do we want to do like
I get it. I'm singing Dennis. It won't let me end it.
Yep.